Welcome to the NPTE Final Frontier podcast, helping one student at a time. Visit NPTEFF.com to enroll today so you can pass tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us here on the NPTE Final Frontier podcast. My name is Emily.
And my name is David. Today, I am here with Emily and we are here with Jerry Durham. Jerry has been a physical therapist for over 25 years with experience and 20 plus years of business ownership under his belt. Through the Client Experience Company, Jerry has been doing consulting and business coaching for companies looking to improve. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you both. I love what you guys are doing. I love the impact you guys are making with what I like to call our future. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. And we appreciate what you're doing. So before we kind of dive into a little bit about what exactly it is you're doing to really help shape the profession, tell us a little bit about where you're from and really what led you into the world of physical therapy.
So I'm originally, so I've been in now, by the way, David, I need to update that intro. It's been 30 plus years. So everybody's got to add another 6 to 7 on that.
Nice.
As I like to tell everybody, I had all my hair and you could actually see my beard when I started. So, I started out in California. That's where I'm from originally, born and raised. I'm currently sitting in Philadelphia, go between California and Philadelphia now. And I love both coasts. Love Philly and I love being out here. Been out here for almost 6 years. So here's my uneventful, no one will care about my story very much. And I was sharing this with someone recently and we both laughed because we both had a similar story. I ran into another colleague that I met on Twitter when I was in LA and we went out and our stories are similar. So I get out of high school and I go to undergrad and I get in my first year of undergrad and I have no idea what I'm going to do. This was 1985. There you go, kids. I know 99.999% of the people listening weren't even born yet, including you two. So it's 1985. I'm going to college. I knew I wanted to go to college. It's what I wanted to do. So that wasn't a big deal, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So what was the easiest path of least resistance? I'll take some business classes. I hated them. So about halfway into the year, I'm like, this sucks. And I'm not going to do this. So I played high school sports and the trainer for our football team was actually an athletic trainer and physical therapist in my hometown and was family friends, had been in town forever. And I was like, Ed loves what he does. I know he volunteers with the high school. So he's out there on the weekends. He brings his kids out. He loves what he does. I need to learn more about what he's doing. And so I sat down with Ed and he had gone through the same state school system I did. So long story short, he walked me through all his classes. I brought in my catalog and I said, cool. And he recommended I start doing some volunteer work because I really didn't know. So I did that really quickly. And I did a boatload of volunteer work in every possible setting there was because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was getting into. And I knew I was going to need it for PT school applications. So I went, and by the way, it was a BS, MPT at the time, by the way, not BS, but I could have, there were still BS programs. So I started doing it and I enjoyed it more and more every day. And, came time to apply to PT school and got in and, loved it. And I've stayed in the profession. Mind you, I haven't treated a patient in probably 8 years plus, but I still believe the reason I'm on this today, and I'm going to jump ahead. I still believe in this profession and I still believe it has a way bigger purpose to serve than how I served it and how most of the people are serving it today. And that's why I'm here. I want people to hear about it. I believe in this profession more than I did when I came out of school. No joke. And people have asked me, because mind you, my student loan debt had 1 less 0. And it was a 24-month program. I've stood in front of people. I said, I would be hard pressed if you were to offer me the opportunity to start again with your student loan debt and where we are today versus where I am today. I am greater than 50% sure I'd jump at the opportunity to restart with the debt, by the way. So that's where I am today. And that's why I want to be here. And that's why I want to get, I want to get more of a voice, and I want to get more of an audience with the people you guys are serving. And I want people, I don't want their ideas, yeah, I'll stop here. Sorry.
No, it's great. It's great, you know, and that's the thing. When you have a passion, you can just keep on just talking about physical therapy and the profession itself and all the changes that you want to be a part of, because you have passion, you have heart within the entire field. It's not, and I agree with you, even with the student loan and everything that's taken place, I do not regret that decision. And I'm sure Emily feels the same way, where there's no regrets of choosing this profession. I think that it gets a lot of bad mouth out there in the public forums. And I would 100%, I agree, I would choose it again. But so you said over 8 years ago, you stopped treating patients. What led to that transition from patient care over to business care?
Yeah, you know, I started my own business, and my wife nudged me to start my own business. My wife was the reason, still to this day, is the reason I started my own business originally. I think it was mostly because she got tired of hearing me come home and complain about bosses after job after job after job. And it's no joke. And she was the one who went, Jerry, I got to share this real quick, because it was quick. It was one statement she said to me. Hey, Jerry, you keep changing jobs, which I'm okay with, but you may need to consider one thing. I said, what's that? She goes, there's only been one constant across all these jobs. And I'm like, what is it? She goes, you. And that was the day I got the big kick upside the head that went, oh shit, maybe it's me and not everybody else. So I started my own business. Like everybody else, I started the business, thought I wanted to treat forever. I got burned out mentally treating people. I wasn't prepared. And I'm going to be totally honest with this. With most of the systems and processes I'm helping people build out now to better serve the people they serve, their patients. I like clients better, but their patients. Yeah. The systems I'm helping to build out now, I didn't have them. And that's how I got here. I started developing them like the second half of my business career. And I saw the success we were having after I got out of it and started working on these other systems. So I burned out on trying to help people, believe it or not. And it's been kind of a blessing in disguise, because now I can help bigger companies and more people, right? Because I'm just going to make a number up. If I'm doing 40 visits a week, I'm impacting maybe 20, 30 people. But now I can impact 200, 300, 1,000 people by going into these larger clinics and helping them develop these systems to better serve their patients.
So to almost take that even one step further, then you mentioned burnout and developing these new systems, which is crucial for our profession right now, because burnout rates are large. Clinics are high demand with low income. But so what would you say is the most common mistake that you see many physical therapy businesses making?
Oh, physical. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were going to go the provider side. So yes, physical therapy.
Oh, that's fine too.
No. Let's go business side first, because it is. And the last two times I really changed my approach to speaking. I love going out. Surprise. I love talking. I love going out and talking to second and third year students just to help them start thinking about this business side. And what I really challenge and what I really put the onus, and this is going to answer your question, Emily, I promise. Where I really put the onus on the students is you have to be wiser about how a physical therapy business is set up and run. And it's not very difficult. And we can talk about that another day. And it's easy to figure out. The thing is, I tell everybody, you have the leverage. You guys have all the leverage. Look at all the fucking job postings, if I can say the F word, sorry. Look at all the job postings. You have the leverage, but you can't. I just had this happen again this week. Someone showed up, asked for a magical number. And when the owner said, what are you going to do for me to get that? They just froze because they didn't understand the business side. So Emily, let me go to the business side. There are very straightforward, high level questions. You as the new PT, you as the PT looking for a better world can ask to start to get keyed into what relationship, by the way, first date, First date, you're sitting across from the first date. What kind of relationship am I heading down here? Right. And you and I both know, if any of us, David and I were on a date, you and I were on a date, Emily, that first date is, it's funny. The person talking the most is not learning anything. The person listening the most is learning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we ask better questions of the business, and I won't go into them today, because most of the owners and most of that burnout is in settings where they don't know any better. And you don't have to be there to save them. I'm not saying go in there and save them and put your cape on. I'm saying go, I'll call you, don't call me. I mean, I literally had a conversation recently where I told a group of people, you ask these 3 questions. If they can't answer any of them, I don't know, maybe I would go, thanks, stand up and walk out. Because if they can't answer these, like, how am I going to be measured? How is my success going to be measured here?
Yeah.
If
Sounds
you
to
hear
me like
visits,
some
units build, visits and units build, and say, thank you very much. Oh, I'm late for my next meeting, and leave. I'm serious, man. By the way, that's the way my business was set up. If you would have walked in, that would have been my answer. So I'm not taking the high road here, my friends. They only know this model of visits and time. Here it is, time traded for money. And if that's all you're going to be valued on after 7 effing years in school and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, take your butt out the door. Thank you.
Yeah. That's
Well, it sounds to me like asking those questions is key, which sounds like a second episode in the making in the future where we can dive into some of that.
I would, and I don't want to get caught in the weeds today, but yeah, and I'm happy to share all that. And I'm not sitting on anything secretly. Actually, if you scroll through my reels, or actually it's in my shorts on YouTube.
Mhm.
It's the one where I'm going to tell you guys right now, where I'm wearing an Expos hat. I go through some of those questions, and it's only a 1-minute reel. So go find it.
Which, Jerry, that's actually something we were going to ask towards the end, but you just mentioned social media. So I'm going to ask you now, how can our listeners get in touch with you, find you on social media? What platforms do you have?
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are all Jerry Durham, Durham PT on the end. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are all Jerry Durham PT.
Keep it
Those are the
simple.
places you need to go.
There you
That
go.
YouTube page is maybe a little high level, maybe a little next level. But I think if you're scrolling through Instagram and those other places, Twitter beware. That's where David and I met. You're going to know everything about me, and you're going to, like, this afternoon, you're going to see me.
That's so true. So, all right. So we spoke about the businesses and everything. So what is a common trend that you have noticed between successful companies?
So thank you. The successful companies is understanding that your value, that person sitting across from me, interviewing with me, that person with the DPT has everything they need. They brought it all from the neck up today. It's not neck down. So they understand the value of not trading time for money. So again, if we're back to how do you see me working? And by the way, I would argue this model that people bash is actually the model we should have been thinking about. Our expertise is in our evaluations and our establishing plans of care. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody listening to this show. What you know, mind you, I've been in this 30 years. At some point in time, because we got caught up in doing what the insurance companies wanted in the payers, we started focusing on treatments and services, which is neck down, my friends. And all of a sudden, we're trading time for money, and we lost and we devalued our true superpower, which is problem solving. And I will argue this, and I set up a clinic exactly opposite of this. So again, I don't get to take the high road. A model where you go in and someone says, Jerry, you're going to do the evaluations and we have a team to follow up on treatments and services is actually using your superpowers. And if you get caught up in needing to be in the space to do, by the way, I'm manually trained. So again, here we go again, to have your hands on and do a dry needle or do a treatment or watch someone do an exercise, you're going to lose in the future. Where you're going to get paid the money you want. I'm not even going to say deserve, you need, no. Where you're going to be able to walk in and go, I want this much money, and they're going to go, it's yours. Is this up? Stop trading time for money.
Now, to go off that even further.
Did I answer your question, Emily?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
I think you've been going above and beyond with it. questions.
Good.
And you've already given some great pieces of advice for a lot of our students and future clinicians.
I really
However,
want them to start thinking earlier. I want I try not to freaking kill the bunny. If you guys ever saw, what do you call it? Oh shit, I forgot it. But
are you thinking Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No. With Lenny.
Yeah, and no, it's another one. Sorry, I forgot. But I try not to kill the bunny when I talk to the first year students because, right, we're so overwhelmed. We're in anatomy. We got all this stuff. But I want them to start taking this stuff in. Now, by the third year, everybody's going to be like, I hear this, they're going to do it. But I want first year students hearing this stuff, man.
Yeah, Of Mice and Men.
No. Oh, you may be right on that.
Of Mice and Men with Lenny. Lenny killed the bunny.
That may be the original.
David really thinks he's right on this one. I saw that.
Well, I'm going to give him that one.
I saw that smile.
I'm going to give him that one.
You know? All right. So now it is time for that surprise question. You were anticipating it and you were incorrect with that anticipation. So let's curveball you. Beastie Boys and bourbon. If you can choose one musician, dead or alive, to have a bourbon with and have a chat with, who would it be and why? Totally.
So I'm a huge, right? So remember, I started college in 85. No. Oh God, no. 84. My first rock concert was Van Halen.
Nice.
Sorry. I started undergrad in 89. Sorry, 89. So Van Halen 1984 tour was my first concert ever. And Van Halen was a big one. And I'm reading a lot of Eddie Van Halen right now. So Eddie Van Halen's at the top, but then you got to go back one further. I also have his biography I have to read is Chuck Berry. So it's somewhere between Chuck Berry and Eddie Van Halen because they were the innovators, right? They were the people that everybody else has copied over time. So I want to learn from the true people who were doing the things that nobody else was doing, that everybody else, that they took a risk on, right?
Yeah.
Because status quo, PTs, we go out, we get the same job. We're going to do this thing, right? Talk burnout. Oh, I'm burned out. And they've tried to repeat the same thing 10 times over. The innovators go, I got a different way of doing this and I'm going to stick with it. So
yeah,
Chuck Berry, Eddie Van Halen.
Nice.
Flip a coin and I'd take either of them, dude.
Awesome. You know, I was just showing my coworker playing Eruption in the clinic today, and I'm like, listen to this guitar riff. I'm like, she's like, I have no clue who this is. I'm like, listen, I'm about to teach you about Eddie Van Halen. Listen to this right now. So, and I totally blew her mind with that. Yeah.
This is a new book and it's signed and I actually got to talk to the author and stuff, but yeah, whole book on it's just insane. David Lee Roth used to recommend to Eddie when they were very early on that he would turn around and play with his back to the audience because everybody was showing up to steal his techniques. Because he was such an innovator, right?
Well, we've got two men here with a lot of passion and a lot of ability to talk. So I am going to wrap this thing up.
Yes.
But no, really, Jerry, we thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. We look forward to hopefully having you on the podcast again because you are a wealth of knowledge and have so much to provide to these future students to help shape the future of our profession because they are our profession. So we really hope to see you again soon. And thank you so much for diving into just the beginnings of these conversations.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, David. And sorry I was late. I have to publicly apologize.
No. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and everything. So thank you. Now that you heard our interview with Jerry Durham, here is a quote from Earl Nightingale. Never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. Do not stop fighting for your dreams. Everything is going to take time. Just set those dreams, set those goals, set those standards, and go after it with everything that you got. You can do this. You are worthy of doing it, so go get it. You are powerful. You are strong. You are a final frontier warrior. You will pass.
Thank you very much for listening. For more information on the NPTE Final Frontier, please visit npteff.com. You can also check out all of our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Till next time, have a great day and a powerful tomorrow. Thank you once again.